Okay, there was just major combat in there, and the sirens, if you could only witness this, surround and swirl and never stop screaming when there's a lot of that kind of shit going on here. Yeah, well, I know what's going on here, but I'm not allowed to say anything. It's these dirty cops here, these motherfuckers. So I don't know how long this show is going to go on here with an arsenal of chemical weapons and fucking combat, straight up armed conflict in here. How long they think that's going to go on, where they swirl their sirens hours at a time while that shit's happening, and keep thinking they're going to stand on the TV and say nothing's happening here, with all their sick Americans protesting for what is it, you know? They'll protest during a fucking pandemic. They spread the pandemic, and that was clear when Trump was in office and he let out COVID, because he let out COVID. It was supposed to be released after the hot war. It was developed by the country of Iran. The Americans, there was no government. There's not been any government that's truly a government. I can't explain this right now. I'm too injured. Trust me, I could if I wasn't injured. All I need to do is learn Econ 1 and 2, and I'm good to go. So this fake government, missing in action government, allowed all its people to spread a pandemic and protest. The protesting it's finished here. Your fucking rights are gone. You don't have them. I can't speak. You get consequence for a chemical weapons arsenal. All right. One of the angels that I remember is black. He's a black man. He's my dad. I identify him as my father. I have more than one father. I was created. I identify him so much so that from birth until I was 7, I insisted and demanded all the time, means all the time. I will get into detail more later because I want to share this with the world. Demand to see my father. Are you my father? Where's my father? He is black. This explains the Africa with me. Yes, big. Okay, in Africa, they love their wives. Polygamy is part of your human race being attacked. It's not your biological nature to want to be polygamist. And a lot of the African customs and cultures are just the same as any tribal culture that whites or China or anyone has anywhere in the world. It's not a race thing. My dad, who is black, is one of my creators, is all about science, and that's where you need to be on the earth, okay? You got to get over that. All this past beliefs, because your human race is going to not survive at the rate you're going. You're killing the planet, which I knew at 18. I knew all this, but I'm synopsizing and summarizing, and I've never been allowed to say anything. It's like this huge lifelong secret, and I knew it. I just always walk around and know all this. All right, so I was beaten physically. All the time means all the time. Beaten physically in order to get me to stop demanding where my dad was, and running up to black men at the mall, anywhere, anytime I saw one. Daddy! Tall black man, tall, slender. Daddy! Okay, and that's all I'm allowed to say right now about this. I had to be beaten. I didn't have to be, but in the perspective of the child abusers, I can't talk anymore about this because it has to do with terrorism, and I'm really limited on what I can say. And someday, this woman will not have these rules where you can't talk about anything that you ever lived. It's pushing me to my brink. I can't talk anymore about it, except that I was beaten for the first 7 years of my life all the time. Physically fucking beaten. To get me to stop demanding that my dad was black. And running up every time like I can't describe because I don't have words. Running free. Sprinting away from the parents or whoever was around. And going up to, I described, okay? Going up to black men. And shouting, "Daddy!" And my mouth is getting... upset, mouth broke. What happened to me in here is so wicked, what they did with the terror and the killing and the everything I have witnessed. I just witnessed more combat. I sit here in this. Okay, so for someone to attack white Western women, and for someone to, because they're just a white Western woman from fucking Ireland doing nothing but cooking on the stove. And for someone to attack African men and say that African men are polygamous and is part of their Africanism is a fucking lie. All right? My creator, one of them, is black. He's my dad. I say this with such conviction because I know he is, but I can never talk about it. I'm forbidden. When the angels tell me that the white ones and the Arab ones are in such deep caca on earth, take heed, because this sort of stories and words about how black men from Africa want to have a harem of wives is such a bitter lie about the African man and how much he loves his wife because he's tied in with the earth, because he's a biological normal man, and to be in love you don't want a whole harem of women. This would be so sinful and such a crime against the woman. You're raping her. And a man who really loves his wife, black, white, or Chinese, does not rape his wife. There's a polygamist in Utah. They're white. It's sick. The human around the world is over. You have little time left. You are killing your planet. The angels, one is black, is my dad, will not let you kill your planet. Okay? I don't have to threaten because China and Russia are on board with me. That's what Archangel always tells me. They're so on board with you, don't even worry. Okay? A real man of any color loves his wife. He doesn't want a whole bunch of women in his house. So no, especially a macho guy. That's one wife in the house is probably enough. A whole bunch of women. I'm being cynical and making joke. Ha ha ha. But or a feminine guy. He loves his wife. He's not such a bastard, jerk, sick in the head man that he's got to have all of these women because he sees women as nothing but sex and rape. Take your violence to hell. That's what my father, who was black, is going to send you. All right? I call him St. Michael, but I don't remember a lot. All right? All right. Okay. So I needed to get that off my chest. I can't talk about my white family who beat me, literally, physically beat the shit out of me to get me to stop demanding my dad was black. I can't talk about any of that. Not right now. It went for the first 7 years of my life. I wouldn't stop. You'd have to beat me to get me to stop. How are you going to tell a kid that's not their dad? Beating them isn't going to stop. I wanted to see where my dad was. Where's my dad? is what I would say. You need to fucking start really thinking here on the planet, okay? And stop fucking poisoning me. All right, goodbye.